Hey guys, it's nscaler454 and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to work on the Walthers Cornerstone Concrete Grain Elevator in N scale. So just like the last time, I've already started on the model. As you can see, I've completed the silo section. This was a little interesting to put together as you kind of have to balance it and piece it together as you glue it. I recommend a slow drying glue or a glue that doesn't set so quickly because you're going to need a little bit of flexibility when you're putting it all together. Prior to painting it, now it does come in a white molded plastic, but I painted mine. But before I did that, I used some of this, what is it called? Squadron Projects Gray Putty Fast Dry Formula. The putty there is just to fill in the seams so it, you can't see them, which, it turned out reasonably well. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. This stuff, when it says fast dry, it means freaking fast dry. Like, I mean seconds, and this thing starts to dry up on you. So I don't know if I recommend the fast dry. I'll just get a regular one because it dries too quickly in my opinion. So, but once that was done, I sprayed this with some Rust-Oleum flat white paint / primer. It worked out quite nicely. It took 3 coats to cover up the gray putty. So now that this is done, what I'm gonna do is just do a little bit of weathering on the parts. I mean, I've done some of the other ones as well. Speaking of weathering, I'm gonna use a technique where I take my, one of my dry powders, I'm gonna wet it down on a wet rag and then just wipe it on, and it'll give it a little bit of a yellowish tinge. Now I want some of that white to show through, like the kind of the new white, but I want it to look like it's at least been out there for a few years. So that's my plan. I made a little mistake. As you can see, I've already started putting some of the windows in. I shouldn't have done that. I think I should have weathered it prior to it, but not a big deal. I've painted the, what do we got here? Some of like the metal sections in, we used Tamiya's bare metal silver. So that's already done. I kept it on the sprues just to keep it a little easier to do. And then these sections I built in one piece prior to spray painting as well. So I will weather this in a similar fashion as to this. And yeah, I'll see how that goes and we'll come back to it. So I'm going to do some rust weathering on the metal structures, and what I use is the Vallejo Pigments Old Rust, and then I take a wet Q-tip and I dab it in the powder, and then I just kind of think about how it's going to, resemble some real life rust, I guess, or some real life rust effects. And then you take the other side of the Q-tip and then you can pull that rust down and then it'll get into those grooves. Yeah, I don't know if it's a realistic way, but it gives it a nice effect, I think. I've gone ahead and put all the windows in the main structure, and now I can put in the doors. So it looks like I need to build this little piece right here with all these little bits before I put the main structure together, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I got that done. I would say this has definitely been the most difficult part of the model so far. I will let it dry and then I can go ahead and do some weathering on it. So one thing I've decided to do is I'm going to paint the top of this little section right here a Model Masters Reefer Gray Flat. because when I put this structure on, you can see into there and it's really white, and I don't really like that, so I'm hoping that darkens it up a bit. So I'll keep a little bit of pressure on it until the glue dries. I imagine this looks still pretty white to you guys, but that yellowing I did definitely toned it down quite a bit. Well, that pretty much finishes the main structure. I can go ahead and finish putting on some of the little details, and I'll show you what the final product looks like.